I've had a few supernatural experiences in my life, but the one that sticks with me the most happened during my time working at Robertson's, a family-owned supermarket in a small farm town. This wasn't just your average store, it had an unsettling aura that everyone who worked there felt. The Robertson family, who owned the place, were well known in the community. Some people saw them as generous, others described them as miserly or even outright sinister. The building itself didn't help its reputation. The back rooms had vaulted ceilings that amplified every sound, the upstairs offices creaked ominously, and there was even a mysterious door buried behind old shelves that seemed to lead under the loading dock. And then there was Blaine Robertson, the patriarch of the family. Blaine was ancient, too old to manage the store, but too stubborn to let go of control. Instead, he spent his days shuffling around, tormenting the employees. He'd scold us for clocking in a minute early, for waiting by the clock at the end of our shift, or for standing still even for a second. Blaine seemed to have an almost supernatural energy, refusing to slow down or, as I often joked, even die. One night, Blaine reinforced my suspicions. He'd arrived at the store around 9 p.m. to do some paperwork in the upstairs offices. My coworker and I had finished all our closing duties and were lingering near the foot of the office stairs. When 10 p.m. rolled around, I decided to let Blaine know we were locking up. I climbed the stairs, but halfway up, I noticed something odd. It was completely dark. When I reached the top, I found the offices pitch black, with no sign of Blaine. The strange part: my coworker and I had been standing at the base of the stairs the entire time. Blaine never came down. This wasn't the first eerie thing to happen upstairs. The water pipes leading to the offices would sometimes make a loud twang, like someone was hitting them with a hammer. Footsteps would echo across the creaky floors, even when the offices were empty and dark. One particularly creepy night, my coworker and I decided to avoid the back rooms altogether, and instead walked laps around the store. As we passed the vegetable aisle, a can of green beans fell off the shelf out of nowhere. We shrugged it off, put the can back, and kept walking. 2 aisles later, another can fell. This time, as I bent to replace it, a third can flew off the shelf, 15 feet away. That was enough for us. We left the cans where they were and spent the rest of the shift huddled by the cash registers. The strangest story, though, came from another bag boy who refused to work night shifts after one disturbing experience. He'd been taking his dinner break in the break room, which had 2 small bathrooms, one for men and one for women. As he ate, he heard a baby crying from the women's bathroom. At first, he assumed a customer had brought a baby into the store, but after 5 minutes, the crying continued. He realized he hadn't seen anyone come in, much less with a baby. Growing concerned, he knocked on the bathroom door and called out. No response, just the persistent sound of crying. After several more knocks and no reply, he decided to crack the door open to make sure everything was okay. The room was completely dark and completely empty.